Conflict is all around us. From time to time, everyone gets into a dispute with someone else. Sometimes, we may feel that we want to win at all costs, and in the process, we risk damaging important relationships. This is the first in a series of 4 videos that have been developed to help you resolve disputes before they grow too big and need to be settled by a tribunal or in court. This video is called Choosing a Dispute Resolution Option.
Some of the disputes people get into involve laws about things like the minimum wage, safety standards, telephone services, or how an accountant did his or her job. Disputes involving these and other types of issues are often heard by government boards, agencies, or commissions, known as tribunals. Tribunals have the authority to make decisions to resolve those disputes. But going to a tribunal, or court, doesn't have to be your first step in a dispute. There are other options, as Joe discovers in this story.
Thanks for coming by, Ajit. I asked you over because you're a social worker and you've some experience with resolving disputes. I'm hoping you can help me with the situation I'm facing.
Sure. I'll tell you what I know. What happened?
I was fined $8,000 because I didn't follow an order to hire qualified people to do some electrical work. The safety inspector gave me notice that I would be fined $280 for each day that I didn't do it. But I think he fined me too much. I was facing a tough situation at the time.
What was going on?
My mother was very ill, and I had to take care of her. I didn't get enough notice to be able to hire qualified people to do the work. In fact, I think I should take the safety regulator to court. $8,000 is just not reasonable.
These kind of disputes don't necessarily go to court, Joe. Your dispute involves a government agency, so it would go to a tribunal. In your case, it would go to the Safety Standards Appeal Board.
Well, I don't care what they call it. I just want to prove my point that the fine is too high. So going to a tribunal would be a good idea, wouldn't it?
Tribunals can work really well, but if you have to have a hearing, it might not be what you expect.
Depending on the type of tribunal you go to, a hearing can take several months to complete. If you decide to use a lawyer, there can be legal costs as well, and it might not turn out the way you had hoped. You might not win your case. If you decide to appeal a decision, that involves more time and money, and you still might not win. In most cases, the sooner the dispute is resolved, the better it is for everyone.
You know, Joe, many disputes get resolved by a tribunal before a formal hearing is necessary.
What are the options?
When there is a dispute between two people, they can try to negotiate an agreement. Both sides meet for a respectful conversation to sort out their differences and come up with the best possible solution for both of them.
That's not an option in my case.
Well, sometimes disputes are resolved by arbitration. Both sides can agree to get help from an arbitrator who is independent and neutral. They both tell their story and witnesses provide evidence. Then the arbitrator makes a decision that they both must follow. But arbitration is not an option for you either.
Okay, that's good to know, but that's not really helping me, Ajit. Are there other options?
Mediation is the best option for you. Mediation is often part of the dispute resolution process for courts and tribunals.
Really? How does mediation work?
Both sides sit down with a mediator who is neutral. The mediator's job is to help you come up with a solution that is acceptable to you both. They do not make the decision for you.
That sounds good.
With mediation, people have more control over the solution to the dispute than through a tribunal hearing, arbitration, or court. There are other benefits too. Mediation can be arranged quickly, and it is usually less time and money because mediated disputes are settled a lot faster than other options. It's also a lot less stressful because the atmosphere is informal and private.
Starting to like the sound of mediation.
At the Safety Standards Appeal Board and other appeal boards, the first step is to have an appeal management conference. In that meeting, both sides try to narrow down the issues and find out if they can agree to settle without going to a hearing. If so, the safety board can arrange mediation. If a settlement can't be reached through mediation, then you would move forward to a hearing.
How should I prepare for mediation?
You might want to create a timeline of the events that led to the dispute, with dates, descriptions, who said what, that kind of thing. But keep in mind that mediation isn't about proving who's right and who's wrong. Do some research. Learn about the regulations that the decision maker is operating under. The stronger you can present your side of the story, the more likely you are to get a positive result.
I should probably think about what I'm going to say, like what I think the issues are and what I want the other person to do about it.
And think about the other point of view, too, like what concerns they might have and what you can do to address them.
Right.
And don't take this the wrong way, but you should learn some tips about how to communicate in complex situations. You should be able to clearly express yourself and be able to listen to what the other person is saying. Getting angry and starting to yell is not going to help you.
Point taken. Thanks for the help, Ajit.
The tribunal has appointed a mediator to help resolve the dispute about Joe's fine. Joe feels well prepared and has a positive attitude about how things will go. The mediator sets up a meeting for Joe and Sid, the representative for the safety regulator.
As the mediator, my role is to guide you toward a solution you can both live with. I will not take sides or make a decision in favor of one of you over the other. Let's start by hearing what each of you sees as really important to cover here today.
I'm here because I think an $8,000 fine is too high. I was facing difficult circumstances when I was told to get qualified people to redo some electrical work. I think I should have gotten more notice.
The regulator followed all of the steps required by law. You were given plenty of notice that you would be fined $280 a day unless you hired qualified people to bring your work up to safety standards by a certain date.
But I was in a difficult situation at the time. My mother was seriously ill, and I had to leave the city to be with her. It was very stressful.
I'm sorry that your mother was ill. How much time were you away taking care of her?
I was gone almost a month.
Joe, you have described facing a difficult situation when all of this was happening. And Sid, you've accepted that there are special circumstances. It sounds like you are willing to apply the fine only to the time Joe was in the city. I think you are both getting somewhere.
To find a qualified mediator, visit www.mediatebc.com.